Testing 1 2, testicles 1 2. We are back after a couple weeks hiatus. It is the Red Card Podcast. Surya, how have you been in this time of sparing fixtures?
I've been sad, man. I can't watch any. All I have is the Winter Olympics. Now, I didn't care about them at first, but then my roommate is really into winter sports, and
Interesting.
so when I watch it with him, it's nice because he explains to me what's happening, why it's cool, and if he's
Interesting.
excited about it, I'm excited about it. Like, and it also, like I also have then someone to make like insults about the sport and skiing and snowboarding, and then he reacts, and it's
I
all fun.
wonder, what's your favorite of the winter sports in the Olympics?
So I really liked the half pipe I watched recently.
Oh,
The
okay.
snowboarding half pipe.
That's
That was
pretty
that was
cool.
really cool.
I
That
do
was
like the
really cool.
snowboarding, and I also like the free ski jumping and like the slalom skiing. Like those
Yeah,
those
yeah.
those are pretty cool.
But like you see, so my roommate says he has no interest in the slalom. He's like, I don't want to watch someone do what I can do. I want I want to watch someone do go in the air and have tricks because he can't do that. I'm like,
I
oh.
feel that. I feel that. Yeah, I think my
Oh yeah,
favorite
I
is
mean like the
yeah.
half pipe I liked a lot.
Yeah, that's
I thought it
awesome.
was dope.
Yeah, there's a lot of interesting. I my favorite one, honestly, I love curling, bro.
Oh,
I
really? You
just
like curling?
I just like I don't know what it is. I just like the setup, the
It's
sweep.
very nice and relaxing. I'll give you that. It's
Yeah, it's
very
nice.
calming to watch.
It's relaxing. I do really enjoy like the ski jumping, the flips, like all those. Like, cause like when you get a nice landing of one of those flips, like it's just like so immaculate.
I think the most odd sport I can probably think of is that, it's like, oh, like you're skiing and then you stop and then you shoot a gun and then you
Oh my god,
keep skiing.
right? How weird is that event? Like,
It's, like my theory on the event is like, they said, hey, we don't have enough winter sports. All we have is like snowboarding, and how many ways can you really go down a hill? And so they have, oh, there's big air. Let's add more ramps. Now it's called slope style. They're two different events, and they're like, you know what? Fuck it. Let's just go hop on skis and have them shoot guns. That'll draw a crowd for sure,
oh my
and
god.
it does. Look, I mean, like we're
We're
talking about it
talking about
already.
it, yeah, dude. I mean, I that was always the one I remember that like I kind of looked forward to because it's just like a little different, you know. Like it's just
Which is
it's
why, yeah,
yeah. You go out there and I
it's like
guess
you're a spy. Yeah.
yeah, there is like ski shooting and other events, so it's like almost like a combination, but it's almost like a triathlon where you have to like get to the place and do a thing. So like I mean, if I'm
Yeah,
ever in a bind and I'm like a James Bond skiing in the wilderness and I gotta like shoot some fucking
bro.
guy from a
Yeah.
distance, like that's I could
I
win on
told my
that event.
roommate that like what they have to do is like combine more non-winter sports with winter sports to make the Winter Olympics more interesting.
I
I was like
like that.
having martial arts like on the snow or something, right? Like you're
Oh,
it's like winter combat, right? So like imagine like
huh?
imagine you're a soldier, right? So you have to make a choice. Do I wear less padding and suffer the cold? Do I wear more?
Ooh,
How's that gonna impact how I move? Can I
I
move
like
better
that. I
with
like
more
that.
less padding and then you fight, right? It's like there's a lot more of like, how do
Yo,
you prepare for the place you're fighting as well as the actual
ooh,
fight.
I kind of like that. I think we should petition more combination of non-winter sports with winter sports.
Bro,
I like that idea, bro. I think that's good.
I think
Oh
it's
man.
fire.
In
I'd
any
love to watch
case,
it, so I'd have it, yeah.
yeah, dude, one day at a time. In any case, let's go into the Prem back again.
Yeah.
We missed a lot. We missed the end of a transfer window. We missed a lot. I guess actually maybe we can even start there. Just so I have a little transfer roundup here. Just because I think there were a number of notable things. Diaz coming into LFC,
Yeah.
Newcastle making a couple of big moves, Trippier and that kind of big, I forget his name, but the Brazilian signing like 40 mil, really making it, and I think Arsenal were after him, like, big
Wait,
player.
40 mil where? Oh, at Newcastle.
Yeah, the Brazilian
Oh,
guy.
from Leon.
Yes, yes, yes.
Bruno Guimaraes or something like that.
Yes,
Yeah.
Bruno Guimaraes, exactly.
Something like that. Yeah, yeah.
And of course, Villa with Digne and Coutinho coming in, making a huge impact. And even Everton, who we might talk about them a little bit later, because Frankie Lamps has now been appointed manager in this relegation fight that they're going to be in. But Dele Ali and who was the other guy in there? Donny van de
It's
Beek.
wild. Like, oh yeah, it's wild. He's now at 10.
Bro, I think we talked about it the other week. Like that was the club. Like That's Everton is like the washed up club, like Everton and Crystal
Too.
Palace, like for washed
Yeah,
up like former top four players.
exactly.
That's exactly. Oh, Dele Alli was made for that. Like,
Yeah, it really was, man. It really was.
right? Like, so perfect. And like, look, he could. I mean, like, I think of Walcott. I think of Aaron Lennon. Like all those players. Like they end up somewhere like Everton, finishing out their
Yeah,
careers.
Alex Iwobi, Arsenal's player.
Alex Iwobi.
He's
He's
at
pretty
Everton
good.
doing dog shit.
Oh, also. Yeah,
He's
go
doing
ahead.
okay. I don't know.
Yeah, I guess also we missed AFCON. That happened. So
Oh, yeah.
nice showdown between Salah and Mane. Quite ironic that Mane misses his penalty in the game and then he sinks that last one. And I think there was a little cool moment where like I think it was Salah telling the keeper like where Mane likes to go before he shot it the first time, which was pretty like hilarious. But yeah, that pretty much happened. Congratulations to you, Sadio, champion of Africa. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it. And I guess we can't.
Like I think,
Yeah.
like in the Afcon game, I think
Mm.
something like you don't see in other leagues, honestly anywhere else, is like after
Hmm.
every kick, every penalty kick, whether it went in or it was a miss, like everyone on every team began praying almost like simultaneously
Damn.
after every kick. It was
Really?
wild. Like I was like, wow, these guys are really intense about it.
Yeah, I mean it, and it's really interesting because like there was that whole thing in the beginning where there were, a lot of players were complaining that the tournament wasn't being respected or whatever. But like it's huge for all those countries, and I mean probably in the
It
same way
really
the
is.
Copa America is huge for the South American countries.
Yeah,
But like it's a big point of pride. And obviously I think Sadio was in the last final, no, it was actually it was Salah actually. It was against
I wonder
Algeria
how
where they lost last time. So he lost
I wonder
again, which was yeah.
how much the AFCON, like how much they earn, like their
Mm.
country's FA earns from winning
From
the
a win.
AFCON.
Oh, actually, I wonder. That's a good. I wonder if you look that up.
Prize
Um,
money.
And yeah, obviously Mo Salah heartbreak twice in a row in the finals, and it's
Okay.
only a shame because I think he would have won the Ballon d'Or if he won that. And I guess if we won like a trophy or two this season, he would have won the Ballon d'Or, no doubt. I wonder, do you have that answer?
Oh, interesting. Okay, so it says,
Hmm.
um, all right, that doesn't answer the question.
Well, in any case, while you're looking that up,
Okay, all right.
oh, go
It's a
ahead.
total of no, bro. Okay, so like everywhere it's saying that they will add $1.8 million to the winner, but like add to what? Like what
Yeah,
was
what's the
previous
what's the
amount
original
of
payout? I wonder. But yeah, you can imagine that they probably like, especially when the countries are relatively small on a world scale football wise. Cameroon,
Oh, here it is.
Burkina
Okay.
Faso. Okay, here we go.
Yeah, the person who wins will receive 5 million.
Huh.
Second place will receive 2.75 million.
Okay. Pretty good payouts, and
That's not
obviously
bad, yeah.
for those FAs, that can make a big difference.
It's awesome to develop more players and academies and training. Yeah,
Oh, absolutely. Oh yeah, and it's
that's
it's
really fun. That's
yeah.
exciting.
It's interesting also. You think about all the African players, like the great African players, like Drogba and Eto'o and all that. Like, 'cause I think Eto'o is like in whatever his country is. He's in the FA now, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, he's the president of the Cameroon FA.
Cameroon FA, crazy. But yeah, and I guess the
I
maybe
think he was like
yeah.
actually he said he was gonna resign because it was because it was shameful how it was being run. Something
Yeah.
like that, I remember reading.
Yeah, there were a couple controversies. I remember like one of the stands collapsed in one of the games, and there was like some corruption
Yeah.
scandal for one of them. I guess there was that beginning match where like the referee ended it with like 50
Oh my
seconds
god!
to go.
that
Like,
was so
dude, what the
crazy.
fuck was that? Like the integrity of the tournament was certainly thrown into for the loop
Game's
then.
gone. That was crazy.
Dude, the game is fucking gone. It's all sports entertainment now. But in any case, last bit on this transfer window, I have to mention him. Arsenal's famous signing, Trusty the Process. Welcome to Arsenal, the American
Trusty.
center back. Clearly a deal from the Kroenkes. I think, I don't know, do they own like whatever team he came from, the Salt Lake, whatever?
They own
Like-
something like that. Yeah, yeah.
Whatever. But in any case,
Well, they own
hilarious.
the Rams, LA Rams, and the Rams won.
Exactly, right? And that was interesting. I didn't see if I guess I heard Troops was trying to make like a plane to fly over the Super Bowl to like be like Cronky out or some shit like that. So
Is
I
he
wonder
really?
if I wonder if that actually happened.
Amazing.
But that's a great segue because I did want to start with Arsenal. I think we only missed one fixture, if I'm not mistaken, because there was the
Yeah, that was-
international break. And that was that 1-0 to the Ars against Wolves. I guess
Yeah.
let me start to ask the Arsenal fan how he feels. But first and foremost, top four is fucking on. Let's be real. With all these
Bro,
games
so
in hand.
one of my friends, he was saying, oh, he's like, oh, United are in the top four, running again, and I was like, dude, Arsenal
Here.
have 3 games in hand
Yeah, bro. Here,
over
I'll pull it up here.
United and over West Ham, over both of them.
Yeah, look at
Three
this, bro.
games.
Look at this, bro. 22 and then 25-25. Exactly. 3 games. And let's be real, Wolves and Spurs, garbage. They're not going to... I mean, Wolves has been on decent form, but Spurs, bro, they are trash. They ain't coming nowhere.
Wolves only know how to defend. Like, they can't score goals. That's the problem.
Well, they did score 2 against Spurs.
Well, I mean, Spurs can't do anything right now.
The Spurs are
that's
trash.
fine.
But yeah, I
But yeah.
guess good match. Like, what do you think?
Is definitely on. I mean, the only problem is these fucking red cards every game.
Oh, so
I think-
I was gonna ask you. What do you think that's it? Is that
There's
Arteta?
4 red cards in the last 6 games for Arsenal.
Bro, okay, so that's my real question. I guess the big debate was like, does Arteta, excuse me, have a role in this discipline? But I guess also like, if we just touch on that red card from that game, that was a freak red card. Like, honestly, I remember like in our group chat, I was kind of like, oh, it was
was kinda
justified.
wild.
It was justified, but like honestly, I heard the arguments after, and I think it actually kind of makes sense. If Martinelli doesn't know he's on a yellow card, is it really fair to brandish it? Because like usually, if maybe I'm thinking too far into it, like, and like what happens in FIFA or whatever. But usually, if it's a yellow card, you pull it back. You stop the play.
Yeah.
You say, "I'm pulling it back because it's a yellow card. I'm going to award you the yellow card." And then surely Martinelli wouldn't have been stupid enough to like ram into him from the back, even though you could probably make the case that he shouldn't have done that after clearly blocking a throw, which was obviously going to be a yellow card. Like, so
I mean, I don't know. Like, I felt like, like if I'm Martinelli, I can believe that, just blocking the fucking throw is not going to be a card because it's not. I don't know. It just seems like a lame card to get. Anyway, like I saw like people
Feel
were sharing videos online of the same referee, like in previous games, like where he does that exact same thing. There's a foul, advantage,
Michael
foul,
Oliver,
where each of those fouls are both clearly yellow cards, although he only gives one, right? Like, I mean, sure, the rules may, on a technicality allow it, but I think just on principle of the card as being a warning, right? Like, it's not serving its purpose. And now, like, had he gone and done, 2 violent kind of,
right?
fouls, fine, but if one is blocking and one is a push, that's not really, he committed 2 clear yellow cards, who cares about the warning? It's just like, oh, he was being an ass, and then he committed like a physical foul. Yeah, like,
Yeah.
I'm not sure, but I think in general, I mean, I don't know, like Arteta, like, I'm not sure
Yeah, what do you think?
what he can do about it, right? It's not, because it's not like it's I mean, it is like persistent in the whole club, right? It's happening to Partey, it's happened to Xhaka, it happened to Gabriel, happened to Martinelli. It is persistent, but I'm not sure. I mean, like, I think maybe it just comes down to that. He expects so much of the players and such a high intensity that the players themselves in the in their aim to be at that level almost sort of lose their heads, and so I just think it's not really a lot more. Like, I think in the interview he said, I'm like out of ideas on how to stop these red cards from happening, and partly he was also saying that it's the refereeing, but yeah, like, I think it's just these players are right now in this rough patch of cards, and I think they having received these cards will then learn, okay, I gotta
And
that back.
it's a young side too. And obviously like Xhaka's an exception because he's just like he's a loose cannon. But like it's a young side, even Gabriel Magalhaes and all these, like it's like they're getting into their form, and I think like I definitely have heard the arguments about Martinelli's specific card, and I think I'm leaning more towards Martinelli giving him the benefit. Especially, I think you made a great point about the warning. Like, then your yellow card isn't even serving its purpose. Like, so like he doesn't even know that he is in danger of getting a second yellow. So like, what is even that? But in any case, that happened. I guess we talked about discipline, but yeah, 1-0 to the Arsenal. Solid
But
win,
the Arsenal still won, solid. Rob Holding came off the bench,
dude.
fucking killed it in defense, bro. In the
Bro,
box,
winning all the headers.
he won every aerial. Yeah, it was amazing.
Bro, dude.
Indeed.
And
What a
look, that
guy.
was a guy, and I guess I don't know if it's I think it's Troops who says Turkey changed the man's hairline and his career. So he's
Yeah, dude, he did.
so he's fucking back. But yeah, top four is on. I mean, like you said, like 3 games in hand. I mean, they're on decent form. I mean, obviously, I'm seeing here win, win, loss, draw, win. But like, they're on decent form. They have all the momentum going in, and obviously, maybe you might make the argument, oh, I'd rather have the points on the board. But like, as we'll talk about later on, like United fucking was dropping points left and right.
Yeah, yeah.
Who's really the only contender now? You could make a case for West Ham, but they really fell off, and you can probably tell that they'll be a Europa League side by the end, especially with this whole like drama off the pitch now that we'll probably talk about later.
What's
But
awesome, I think, is that I saw on 538 that that currently their odds for Arsenal being, Arsenal making the Champions League is now above 50%, which is a good sign.
I mean, that would be, and look, and the other thing is that no European football, no distractions, 1 game a week.
Distraction.
I mean,
dude, like
it's on, bro.
Dude,
It's on.
but no. Well, look, I think because are United in the Champions League still? No, right? They're out, right?
They're out from Oli. Yeah, I was, and that's why they played today. I think against Brighton.
So I
They're
mean,
not
like
in there
that's
anymore.
like I think the other top four people have no other games either, right? Like I don't think any of them are still in the FA
Right.
Cup or in the UFL
Yep,
or in
you're right
Europa
about that,
or
I think,
Champions
yeah.
League. So I think it's an even playing field now, and so now it's just about who's
Absolutely.
who's got their head on straight.
Yeah, well, you segued perfectly. I want to talk about United. I mean, I guess I just watched the highlights of the Brighton game today, and Brighton had a couple good chances, and the second goal only went in like 96-minute. Bruno, like sealing the deal and like getting Old Trafford to like breathe a sigh of relief.
Yeah.
But yeah, what do you think? I mean, it's interesting because like not only did they drop a few points, I mean they had 2 successive 1-1 draws, one against Southampton, one against Burnley. Couldn't really hold on, but there's a lot of drama. I mean, I heard this morning on Hugh Wizzy's show that like, apparently Ronaldo and a couple of other players are questioning whether he has the chops to manage and all this stuff. Like, and I guess Ralph in general has been called into question this whole kind of strategy. I guess like what do you think about United? Obviously, did you see any of the matches? Like, what do you think about Ralph? And I guess is top 4 a reach? I mean, I think they're done. Honestly, I don't think they're gonna make it. I think
crazy.
Arsenal are favorites. Let's be real.
It's crazy. It's the same thing happening at AS from Roma, right? Like
Huh.
Mourinho's there. Well, not same, but Mourinho's there, and he's like, oh, and so then it was leaked in Italian news that a lot of the players in the locker room don't like how harsh Mourinho was on the team, and how hardly he chastised them, and they want to leave
Really?
the club, and everyone's like, good, like all these
Huh.
divas need to leave because they have to understand, like it's them who are not pulling the weight, because it can't be at United that the past 5 managers, they all blow,
Bro,
but the same team works, right?
100%. And I heard the same thing about Mourinho too, where it's like
Can't be. It just
Mourinho
can't be the
left
case.
Spurs and he left United, and he was right about both squads. Right now, we're
Yeah, they're
seeing
both
these
dog
squads
shit.
are not pulling their weight, and
Yeah.
even we'll talk about Conte later. When Conte was like, you can't buy a winning mentality. I'm like, it's
Yeah.
just like it's, and Conte was starting by saying like, oh, the level of the Spurs is not very high,
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean they're freaking done, bro. They just don't have momentum. They can't seem to score goals.
Can't do anything.
They can't hold on, and like even Maguire's being called into question again over and over. Ronaldo,
I don't know. He always was like.
oh
like
for
he-
sure, but it's
no
he's
one
back
like,
as a
no one
scapegoat.
like ever thought, oh, Harry Maguire is England's is the England #1.
Yeah, all the
Right.
England fans had a few weeks in the summer where they thought, it's also interesting. I actually forgot to ask you this before we segued off Arsenal. Aubameyang left to Barca.
gone, bro. He's
What do you
gone.
think about that, bro? What do you think about that? I'm so curious
Yeah.
from an Arsenal fan. Like, what do you think, bro?
It all happened so fast. Like I think it's sad, right? I think it's sad because I really wish that Aubameyang had one last game at the Emirates where like he could have
Oh.
a proper goodbye. Because bro, that man has
Mm,
done so much for
so
Arsenal.
much.
It's unbelievable, right? Like we are, like Arsenal
Yeah,
are where they are right now because of him, no doubt.
100%. He was Wenger's last signing, right? If I'm not
There's the
mistaken.
moment, yeah, and then
Shh.
Wenger left half a season later after he signed him. Bro, he does like he has a tattoo on his arm of him. He got the tattoo after he re-signed his contract. It's a photo of him wearing the Arsenal jersey, holding his two kids' hands, walking out to the announcement in the Emirates. That's the
Wow.
tattoo on his arm, bro. This man,
Mm,
this guy is Arsenal through and through, man. He deserves like a good sending off, and he didn't
unreal.
have one. That kind of sucks because it
Yeah.
all happened so fast. But yeah, dude, Aubameyang, he'll forever be like a great Arsenal player.
Yeah, and
Fuck
it's interesting
you.
because I think I heard a few quotes of it, like in passing, or maybe like read an article where it was like he kind of was hinting that there was a little bit of drama between him and Arteta, and
Yeah,
it made me really question because I remember him coming on this podcast and saying like, oh, I think Arteta made the right choice, meaning like he's
yeah,
he stood firm, he set a standard, he said I'm not gonna deal with whatever diva, but then you think about it, it's like the guy was visiting his mom, like. Could there have really been? Was it really just that? It had to have
yeah. No,
been
I
more.
can't.
Oh, LOL. For viewers at home, Surya's got a Linux machine, and when you have a Linux machine like Surya,
Motherfucker.
Discord likes to quit on you. So we've got him back. We've got him back. In any
Yeah,
case,
it can't be just that incident, right? It has to
yeah,
be a pattern.
100%.
And look, and one thing, like after Aubameyang left, they
Mm,
asked, they were, like it was an interview with Arteta, and he said something
mm,
interesting, right? He said something along the lines of, like if you're scoring 25, 30 goals a season, then then the locker room has to accept it, right? They have to accept you're late. They have to accept
yeah,
whatever you're doing,
yeah,
and that 2 points that made it seem one that the locker room itself that the players in the locker room
mm,
were not liking his attitude, were not liking
right,
what he was doing, and that compounded with he's not scoring goals, right?
yeah,
Like it implies that it's not only our Teta who has a problem, it's the locker room itself saying, look, this guy's the captain, he's starting every game, but he shows up late, he's not scoring any goals, right? Like how come I'm not starting, right?
yeah. And I guess the other thing is like some people have made the case where it's like is was Arteta really playing him in an effective position to get that? But you can also make the case that he wasn't pulling the weight for the system, right? And you can very easily give that spot to Saka or Emil Smith Rowe or
Yeah.
Martinelli, who's going to have a higher ceiling in the long term, and might actually. And you saw Martinelli started bringing
Yeah.
fruit and like,
And
you
to
know,
your point, I think you know, we saw a lot of times where he's playing on the left with Lacazette in the middle.
mm,
He's playing in the middle with Gabriel, with Martinelli,
yep,
Saka
yep,
on the sides, right? Like, we he try. I think Art had tried to make him work and have him scoring goals again, but it just didn't happen, right?
yeah,
And Lacazette, honestly, is not too much. Is not scoring goals either. But he's scoring some, but like not enough.
yeah.
But at least he offers more in the game. Like even if he isn't scoring, then
Right, for the
Aubameyang
team,
does.
exactly. And I guess, yeah, I guess I missed that when we talked about the Arsenal match, but he had a few chances, like, I mean, the one-on-one chance, and even
Oh,
like,
he should just yeah, yeah. It's
yeah, I
just
mean, you got to
he's off
score
his
those.
game, and yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And I guess that I guess was the primary reason I guess it kind of fell through, but that the Arsenal was like looking for Vlahovic or someone. So like, because I guess
Yeah.
they knew that the behind the scenes with Aubameyang was going to happen. I think Aubameyang even took a pay cut to go to Barca or some shit like that, where it was like,
Yeah, yeah, he did. Yeah, he had to pay Arsenal some cash to go to Barcelona.
cannot believe. Well, now Barca will be a fun team to play in FIFA. I'll tell you that.
Well, I
So
don't know. I mean, like if they downgrade him to like 79 or something.
that's true. That's definitely possible. In any
Look, we
case,
could
yeah,
go the Coutinho route, right? I mean,
bro.
Barcelona right now are also a shit show, and he just sort of also he continues to shit the bed, and then ends up at Aston Villa at age 40 or something.
I don't know if my camera can see it, but Coutinho. Fuck yeah, repping him today. In any case, before we go to the top of the table, let's just touch on Spurs just for the moment, just to kind of round out all these
Yeah.
pseudo top four contenders. I mean, I don't know if you saw the last few matches. I mean, I think like obviously Wolves was a bit jarring because but you could
Yeah.
expect something from Bruno Lage's side, and I guess it really being at home was really what shocked me there.
Yeah.
But that Southampton game, I don't know if you watched that match, but like
It was
the
depressing.
the defending in that match was shambolic. I mean, what was going on at the back there? Hugo Lloris makes the mistake for the one goal, shifts it out wide, and kind of like invites pressure back onto him. I guess they got a little bit unlucky with the bounce or whatever it is.
Yeah.
But like you have to say, like Southampton were well deserved winners in that game, and
Well
like
deserved, yeah.
credit to Hasenhudl. I mean, I guess for where they are, and actually here I can pull up the table, like, cause they're mid table, but like taking points off of teams like Spurs, and I think they also had another draw recently against United. Actually, we just talked about, but like they're a pretty good side, like they're staying up there.
They're
Like,
solid, yeah.
but yeah, that was a fucking
And
shambolic.
one thing I
Man.
will say about the more mid-table teams, I think,
Mm,
with the new managers coming in, right?
that's
Like
exactly right.
we're seeing even the mid-table teams, having players like Coutinho, having players like
Oh,
Charlison, having Newcastle signing all these new players, right? Like the whole league, like it's improving, right? All these teams like are becoming more competitive, and it's
100%.
really hyped to watch. Really exciting.
Dude, it's so hype. And honestly, like, I don't want to skip too far. Well, I don't want to gloss over Spurs too quickly, but, like, you mentioned Coutinho. Bruh. Let's give Aston Villa their due. First of all, Stevie G getting results. Even though they had they couldn't hold on during the 3-all draw to Leeds, which admittedly was a thrilling game. Like, great goals back and forth. Ramsey got 2 goals, and Coutinho just linking the play up so beautifully. Oh my God, that turn in the midfield for Ramsey. I don't know if it was Ramsey's first or second goal. Oh my God, just a perfect pass. The weight of the pass. I'm just like, bro, this is why Coutinho. And look, we loved him when he was on our team, but like, let's be real, he was the biggest ripoff on planet Earth, bro. 120 mil can you understand, bro? Like, more than Harry Kane was gonna go for, bro. This is what we sold to Barcelona. Like, genius ripoff from Ed Woodward.
I think
Like,
that whole like couple years time period was like of inflated prices.
oh, 100%.
They were just crazy prices at that time period.
Yeah,
But
Neymar was I think moving from Barca to PSG at the
200 mil
time.
or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, crazy. And obviously, like, that's when to gloss on the business, like, that his stock was highest on that summer.
Yeah.
Like, he just finished one of his best seasons, and they were like, "This is the time to cash out. If any fool is gonna pay 120 mil for this flop, it's
Yeah.
now."
Yeah. Exactly.
But to your point, Villa, a perfect kind of like hybrid for him, right? Obviously, the Prem is becoming better and better. He's not necessarily like top four, side material anymore. He's pretty much out of that. But it was. I mean, obviously, it was interesting to hear that like Stevie, of course, was like a big draw for him. Obviously, it's a former
Yeah,
teammate and all
definitely.
that. But like, it's a perfect kind of place for him. He doesn't have the expectation of a top four side. He can still like have his skill in the midfield, and he understands the league. Like, that's the other thing. It's like he didn't need to hit the ground. He was able to hit the ground running because he didn't need to get up to speed. He knows all the
Yeah.
clubs and this, and also just the passion he shows. Like, I mean, he already in his first game, goal and assist, another couple of assists in the game against Leeds, and even he was scoring too. The guy is passionate. He's really wants to like do well
Yeah.
for the club, and like even Stevie too. You see him on the sideline. He is just like, what a coach. I'm just like, I'm so happy for them, and like, Christ, I mean, where are they now in the table? They are mid-table 12th, and obviously when Dean Smith was fired, it was 5 losses on the bounce. They were fearing an early relegation scrap, like, so man, like a complete turnaround. And I guess now that
Well,
I'm
like
talking to go ahead,
Mhm.
no, go ahead, go
One
ahead.
thing I will say about Coutinho, right? Like I think for someone to go from Liverpool, to Barcelona and not do so well, right? I think a lot of it is psychological now, right? Because at Aston Villa, I think it's important for any like employee, right? Like any work you're doing to feel important, right? And
Yeah.
at an Aston Villa, like even if he isn't at the top of his game, he feels important. He
That's
feels
true.
like he's contributing and he has a role to play and he can do it. Whereas you go from Liverpool, where you're a
So
star,
right.
to Barcelona, where you're always in everyone's shadow, it's really hard to adjust. Like either you have such a powerful ego that you're like, fuck these guys, I still got it, or
Mm.
say, like you're a more humble guy. You're like, shit, like I'm in this team with fucking Messi, Busquets, all these
Oh
players.
my god, you're
What
so
can I
right.
actually do to compare against them? And then you recede and you get in your own head, and you stop playing well. So I
Oh,
think it's
that is
important for him to
so
move
true.
to to a club where he feels important, and so he feels like he's on his game. He feels like he's doing something that
A
matters,
hundred
and he can do
percent.
it.
100%, and obviously having the manager who's going to give him
Oh
that
yeah, no, of course, yeah,
responsibility
yeah,
too, right? But that's so true, and I think the second scenario is exactly what Coutinho did. I think he was humble enough that he like receded into himself. I
yeah,
mean, he went there to play with Neymar, he went there to play with Messi and all this stuff, and then and even in Bayern, I think the same thing kind of happened. I mean, he was just like
yeah,
in it. It was a team full of superstars, and
yeah,
it's like he can barely get in the side, and he makes an impact here and there, but he's not and it's interesting too that you say that because like at Liverpool he was that main man before he left.
yeah,
He
yeah,
he he was like the primary creative force in that top in the top line, coming cutting from the left and like
yeah,
linking up with Bobby Firmino when he first started. So like to go from that to then and now look, I'm sure there was part of his ego when he signed there to be like I can do this. But the second you
yeah,
get there and you're in that like you're saying in that team full of superstars, it's hard to like not not only even feel that you're contributing but like even like think that you're gonna be able to like or even compete for the place. I mean that's the other thing. It's like you're not gonna be that starter. It's you are the guy being hired to put pressure on the current midfielder to see if you can do it, and it
exactly,
really is
exactly. Like you have to understand your role
exactly
in the transfer. Your role in the transfer
exactly
is to come and fight to have a place. It's not to come in and play.
exactly. It's exactly it. So I think that's a very apt analysis of what happened to freaking Coutinho. But in any case, Villa doing much better than the
Much
freaking
better, yeah.
Spurs. And yeah, obviously I didn't see the clip, but I thought that was kind of hilarious that Conte, just to wrap up on Spurs, like fucking you you can't buy a winning mentality. I think that was the quote, and I just think like if I could define Conte's era at Spurs, it's just like him complaining to Daniel Levy 24/7. Like that is just literally what he's been doing since he got here. And like I really shudder to imagine like if Levy doesn't like put his money where his mouth is and like really revamp this squad in the
Yeah,
summer, will he stay? I don't know if he'll stay honestly.
I think, I think that is probably one of the reasons that he signs such a short term contract that he wants to see really how serious is this club about achieving what he wants, and if not, he can say, I'm out. You guys ain't it.
Bro, they have they spent how many billions or
He should go to
whatever or millions
Everton.
on that
He should go to Everton.
Oh, now you're talking. Well, let's
Issue with
talk about
Everton also,
yeah.
like issue with Everton is again they have an owner that like has no idea what he's doing. So like, they
Oh,
spend so much cash on washed up players
you're
and
so
then
right.
they don't succeed.
Well, let's talk about them actually because we also missed another managerial appointment in Frankie Lampard.
Yeah,
Obviously, I'm pulling up the table here because I think there was an element of desperation. First and foremost, we talked about Rafa for the longest time. Like
yeah,
that was the dumbest fit ever. Any fan could tell you that was just not the fit. I like, what are you doing? Not only is he past his prime, but you just had a more successful Champions League winning manager
yeah,
that
yeah,
plays a defensive style in the side already. And now you think the other guy's gonna get it? Why? Because he likes the Merseyside? Exactly like you said. The owner has no idea what he's doing. I think it's like the Dutch guy. It's like Mashiri, I think his name is, or some shit like that.
yeah, yeah.
Like they don't
Sure.
like they don't know what the fuck they're doing. Like they're just taking punts on names. And like
Yeah,
what's interesting is that they had the cash. Like that's what like I remember last season or the season before. Like everyone was speculating whether they could break into that like top six or like,
yeah,
but like they just there was no rhyme or reason. There was no plan. And I guess now with Frankie Lampard, I guess I had my doubts in the beginning. They're in a relegation scrap very clearly. I mean, you see now they have one game in hand on Newcastle, but they're only 1 point ahead of them, and
mhm,
it's very much in the balance. Obviously, I don't think I'm looking at it now like Norwich and Watford and Burnley. They're probably all gonna go down. Like, let's be real, they
yeah,
don't have enough quality. So like, will they really be relegated? Probably not. But when you think about that, I guess like why wouldn't you get someone like a Sam Allardyce or whatever to stay up? Well, you could probably get Lampard was with Chelsea, got enough results, and they did win a great
yeah,
match 3-0 the other day, which was great way to set off his managerial stint, with a win at Goodison too. But like that feels to me like they want to build something. Same thing with Villa and Stevie. They want to allow this guy to come in here and let's be also real for Frankie. This is the kind of job you should have taken, maybe not in a relegation scrap,
exactly.
before Chelsea.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah,
Don't just
exactly.
go from Derby having one season in this like another like
I agree,
poorly
yeah,
run
totally.
financially club, and then think that you're gonna go into Chelsea and like make them European champions.
Yeah.
And so it's like, okay, I guess even Rory, shout out to Rory, Rory Jennings, like big Chelsea fan. He did say like, oh, there's still a lot of merit to the accomplishment of what he got done in Chelsea. Like, I mean, he still got them to top four, and like, considering where they were at the beginning of that season, and he like started to build the youth in the side, bring in Mason Mount, and Tammy Abraham was firing and all that stuff. But like, you really need especially in the Prem, like before you go to the top four and you have to challenge for those big trophies with those high expectations, you really have to go small. And it's also very interesting because he had I don't know if you watched the overlap with Gary Neville, quality podcast by the way, to Sky Sports and Gary Neville, but he had Frankie on for one of the weeks, and he was talking about the pressure and expectation, and obviously, not only is it a top four side, but it's freaking Chelsea, bro. If you have 3 losses on the bounce or whatever, Roman Abramovich is done, bro. Like he's gonna chop your head off. Like we gotta get results now. So really, I'm happy for Frankie that he didn't tarnish his reputation enough, that he's still able to get this kind of job, because this is perfect for him. I mean, he also looks good in blue. Let's be real.
Bro, talk about fucking washed up, dude. Even their coach now, Everton coach is the washed up guy. But dude, the greatest steal, the greatest robbery was Everton bossed Alex Iwobi for £30 million from Arsenal.
Oh my god.
And even at that point, Iwobi wasn't that good. Like, but they still paid £30 million for him. I couldn't believe it.
Psh. Yeah,
It's
it
so
will
much
be.
money.
Yeah, Iwobi looks like I mean, I don't know how much of a threat he is, but I think he does provide a good outlet on the wing. I guess I enjoyed watching him from Nigeria as well. That's kind of like why I
Yeah.
mentioned him earlier. I guess I got a soft spot for the Nigerian side after King and Kong started doing the vlogs out there.
Oh yeah.
But
Well,
yeah.
the problem with Iwobi is that his first touch kind of sucks. Like the ball always goes away from him,
Yeah.
and his decision making sucks too.
Yeah.
Like he always passes too late. He always he'll over dribble when he should pass. He'll
Interesting.
pass when he has he's just
Yeah.
all around not at a high level.
Yeah. Well, we'll see how he can develop now as Everton kind of like maybe do this little rebuild.
Yeah.
We did mention the signings, Dele and Donny van der Beek. I guess it's worth mentioning van der Beek, and if only because he had
Yeah.
quite an impact in the first couple of matches. Really, I guess controlling the midfield to a degree. I mean, you really need that pivot, and obviously for him, it's kind of like another one of those. You're at United. You're probably in a similar position. Maybe not like Coutinho in terms of age, but like similar in the sense that like where can I find a place in this squad? I'm gonna have to
Yeah.
fight for my place. And I'm actually happy for him that he can go to.
He has to
Yeah.
fight against fucking Fred, bro.
Bro,
Alright, continue.
well, no, I mean that's a great point, because like if you can't get into that McFred midfield, then you probably belong at somewhere like Everton in a relegation
Yeah,
battle.
yeah.
But yeah, I mean that's another. You made a great point earlier, because like this is another one of those examples of like how the Prem is like shaking up now, like where not only do you have like different players like Coutinho coming in from different leagues trying to like try their trade in the Prem. And I think Varane is a good example of that too. I mean, maybe not he has much higher quality than Coutinho,
Yeah.
but similar kind of thing where people are like, let me come and use my experience in this new difficult league and try to like win trophies with bigger sides. But in the same way that like you'll have, I mean, I guess you have people like even Broha, for example, who's a Chelsea loanee at Southampton, like that you get a lot of that now, where it's like people who are maybe like.
Connor Gallagher at Crystal Palace.
Oh, you're right,
Academy,
bro.
yeah.
Yeah. I don't even have much on my notes about Crystal Palace because they've just been like.
Chelsea loan, and
so bland.
he's killing it. Yeah.
But yeah, Gallagher's another great example of that. But exactly what you're saying, like this is the league, like this is the quality of the league, like coming to the forefront. Like it's so exciting to watch. Like I've
Trickle
never.
down economics at work, bro. The
Bro.
quality trickles down from the top.
Bro, trickles down from the. Well, yeah, they can't. You can only have a 25-man squad, bro. Like we can't fit everybody.
Exactly.
Oh man,
Exactly.
but yeah, but like honestly, I think to your point from before, like I don't think there's ever been a season where I'm like excited to watch almost every match. Like,
Almost every game, right? I know it's
right?
wild.
It's just like, and I guess the other thing is like I think it's my age too because like
Yeah,
now that I've grown up with like over a decade watching the Prem, I
I
have
understand it
players.
more.
Yeah, and I have players I want to watch. So like even in
Yeah,
Brighton, like I want to see Adam Lallana every so often. But even forget Lallana, like the quality, like Lamptey, I think he's also a loanee from somewhere else. But like he's
yeah.
fucking on fire, like putting in. And I guess what's the other guy who scored the goal? Oh, he's so great. I forget his name. I just saw him. I just saw him. I just saw him in the
Okay.
something with a B. Oh, Mopé's great too. But there's some other guy. I forget his name. In any case, like
On
they're
Brighton.
exciting sides, huh? On Brighton, yeah, on Brighton. I
On
forget.
Brighton.
Bissouma? Bissouma? Is that his name?
That sounds right.
Or is he on Crystal Palace? I think that's what I was thinking of. Bissouma.
Yves Bissouma, Yves or something. I say
Here,
it.
let's use the
Bissouma.
internet. Fuck it. Bissouma.
Yeah, Yves Bissouma, but
Yeah,
he
exactly,
is. Yeah, there
exactly.
you go.
Yeah, there he is at Brighton. Yeah, they got exciting talents there. Oh man, and obviously, I guess the other thing happens too, the other way around. Like you start to see the quality talents like go upwards, which is also very interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that was good. That was a good little thing. I guess now I do have my next thing here is bottom of the table clash is looking tasty. I guess I already pushed up the table. I think we already know what's gonna happen. Burnley, Watford, Norwich, they're all trash. Let's be real. But Newcastle United, I wanted to give them a little bit of a shout out. Obviously, a couple weeks ago, they were still kind of worries about being in a relegation scrap. All this Eddie Howe, just building up his style of play. But in the last couple of matches, I mean, first and foremost, the fans in the ground just like absolutely killing it. Like, obviously, another like big thing about the Prem and those kinds of like big brands and cities like. You got 50,000 fitting in there every week, and they're
Yeah.
passionate Geordies. So, like, they're gonna create a damn good atmosphere. So, if you can get them, I mean, they beat Villa, they beat Stevie's Villa at home, and I
Hmm.
guess what else they had? They had a 3-1 win. Let me see who it was against. Everton, actually. Yeah. So actually, that was, that I think I remember that was the 6-pointer when like Lampard started. They're like, okay, if you win this game, you have a chance. Now, obviously, I think to a degree, you know, like we said, there probably won't go down either of those two sides. But I think,
Yeah.
like you would say on paper that Everton has more quality, but like I don't know, man. I think Newcastle have a good
Newcastle has a
chance.
lot of quality now. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean Trippier, we talked about him. I mean he scored a few free kicks. Like obviously the
He's
second.
injured now though.
I saw. So I didn't actually see that happen in the game. Like, is
Broke
that a
his
long term
foot.
injury? Oh my God, really?
Fracture in his foot. And dude, he was their best player for like the last couple
Oh
games.
my God, here I'm gonna pull this up. You're right. Let's see. Trippier out and comes in jeopardy at Newcastle. That's
So at
freaking
least probably
crazy.
6 weeks he's out for in recovery for the.
That is actually crazy. You're right, a
Yeah.
broken bone in the foot. And it's also interesting. I read it here in the article that like it only took him 5 games to get the captaincy. I mean, that was another thing. Like you saw him really
Yeah.
take that role of like, just like we
Mhm.
said, the quality player from a different league coming back, showing what it takes to be quality. And again, I guess it's interesting. Like in this particular case, like obviously, why is he going to take a punt? Not only just come to the Prem, but like there's cash coming in, bro. He knows that he can be in this like starting class of what's gonna be, Newcastle. And
Yeah.
it's kind of scary honestly because like I'm already feeling the early City vibes already. I mean, that transfer window was a big vibes. Like getting him, getting those wins, and getting the Brazilian dude that you mentioned in his name from before. Like
Yeah.
that is like
No, but see, look, like I think even if it's like Man City, I think it does hold true slightly. You cannot buy a winning mentality, right? Like
you're right.
Man City fine have all the cash, but make no mistake, they are where they are because of their coach,
Yeah,
because of Guardiola, not because of how much cash they have.
you're 100%
Right?
right about that.
They're that good, right? So like there aren't a lot of peps just lying around, waiting to be hired.
That's 100% right, and I guess I do hear the arguments of even people like Brian at True Geordie, who says like, look, uh, you're gonna have to have spending to catch them up because they're just gonna
Mhm.
have the highest quality all the time. Where you can still see like, okay, even if you have the pep and you have someone to match him like Klopp, it's like the finances and the resources to be able to make your squad so deep that you can like.
Yeah.
you can put like quality like freaking, whichever Silva and Mares and whomever on the bench, and you're just like you have all stars like
Yeah.
a mid table at worst Premier League 11 sitting on your freaking bench. But like you're saying, I think like the manager matters, and honestly, like
It matters. Sorry,
yeah,
go ahead.
no, no, no. I was only gonna say like when Pep leaves, I wouldn't be surprised if there's a big drop off.
Yeah, all completely.
Yeah.
Like I think right. Like the way if you aren't City, right?
Hmm.
If you're Arsenal and the other clubs who don't have as much cash available,
Right.
I think the play is to win the not the financial war but the culture war, right?
Yeah.
Make your club attractive
Spot
to
on.
come to, regardless of how much regardless of it being Pep or how much they can pay you, right? Like
Yeah.
as long as players still want to play for Arsenal, right? So like that was the one great
Yeah.
thing about Arsene Wenger, right? Like players were like, "Oh, I have a chance to play with Arsene Wenger, this
Yeah.
amazing manager," and they came anyway. Aubameyang came to Arsenal when Arsenal were dog shit,
Exactly.
and he was a top striker in the world, right? Like why come to
Yeah,
Arsenal?
bro. He
But
was one of the best strikers.
yeah,
Spending how many seasons in Dortmund, just like killing it, going
yeah,
to
and his
Champions League
answer
finals.
was he came because of Arsene Wenger, right?
And it
And
is
so I
interesting
think
because Arsenal still has that pull, even without him. It's like
yeah,
it's not as much, but like it's still Arsenal. It's still the Ars.
I think what clubs have to do is develop a dynasty, right? So like
Mm,
Liverpool kind of had that on Klopp, right? Like
yeah.
he's a brand and he's attractive,
Yeah.
right? Uh, Chelsea don't have that. All they have is cash, right? They have no brand. They have no culture. Like
Mm,
Tuchel is not a dynasty force, right? He's not that guy, whereas Klopp is. Arteta is still brand new. He's not that guy. So
oh.
yeah, I mean, I think the game plan is to win the culture war and just be so attractive. Like, oh, playing
Mm,
at Arsenal is super dope
hundred
because
percent.
Arsenal, and that's it.
Yeah, and to a
And that's all you
degree, they'll
need.
have to start low too. They'll have to start building up, right? Like even when
Yeah,
Liverpool were in the beginning of Klopp when he finished eighth, like people were laughing when we signed Sadio and Salah for
yeah,
30 mil. It
yeah,
was like you got to So it's like and that's why I guess you hope that you get a manager, and I guess I can see Arteta growing into a better manager. He's got the
yeah.
backing of Pep and all that. But then you can like develop those players to become the superstars that then attract the people to your brand,
Exactly.
to your
Like I
project, and
think
all
as
that.
long as Arsenal can keep the average squad age low enough, right, that it becomes, like I'm a top player in Europe, in mainland Europe. I want to
Yeah,
break through in the Premier League. Where am I gonna go? To Arsenal because
yeah.
there I will play, there I will improve, and there
That's so right.
I'll break through.
That is so right.
Whereas City also want me there, but I'm not gonna play every game. Who knows? They don't have a long history of developing young
Exactly.
superstars. So I'll go to Arsenal instead, and that's all you need. And
Exactly.
then you have that pipeline created, and then it lasts. Hopefully,
Exactly. And the same thing honestly is a Chelsea thing too. It's like, do you really think I'm going to go to Chelsea when they farm
yeah,
out all
no,
their
you're not.
players every like no, at Arsenal I'll actually have a chance to break through. And
Yeah,
Arteta is admittedly playing the young talent. Like he's
yeah,
actually putting them on the pitch, giving them a chance.
yeah,
And like if I'm not mistaken, aren't they the youngest on
yeah,
average side this season?
they're
Yeah,
the
dude.
youngest.
Yeah, honestly, like I would be very happy as an Arsenal fan at the moment. If only because the ceiling is so high, and I guess as a Liverpool fan, I already saw what a build is like. I guess you can make the case that like maybe it took Klopp a little bit less time to get back to from the eighth up, but like you got to give Arteta a little bit of a chance to like build his side and continue to
Yeah,
grow it, and he's gonna really be like, honestly, if they make top four this season, like that'll be a big statement. Like that'll be.
it'll be fat, but I'll be fat, and then finally maybe he'll get some
PHAT.
serious cash in his
Yeah,
bank.
you're right. I guess we did mention Chelsea, and actually, they're not in my notes because they were, I believe, I don't know what, I think they were in some Arab country, but doing the Club World Cup. So we got to congratulate them, and I guess they won their
Yeah,
Super
but I
Cup.
mean
They won that.
the club it always ends up being a Premier League team or
Yeah,
Barcelona against some
the
Arabic
the
team. Which
Champions League winner,
I mean,
basically, the one
let's
that
be
wins the
real.
Champions League. Like nobody who wins the
Against
CONCACAF or any of them are ever gonna win
yeah,
it. Like, Let's be real. But in any case, that's kind of why we didn't mention them this week. And I guess if we're gonna touch on them, the position in the table, I mean, it looks like they've really felt. I mean, like we thought it was a three horse race way back when, but they look like they're gonna end up finishing third.
Yeah.
It's kind of a standard fare. And yeah, I guess we talked about. I don't know if we did. We talk about Liverpool at all? I don't even think we talked about. Yeah, we could talk about the top
Who
of the
cares?
table. That's the other thing is like top of the table is so boring. Like I'm having more fun watching the top four race and watching the relegation battle at this point.
Bro, no one gives a shit about watching Liverpool FC. At least with Man City, it's boring, but it's going to be a lot of goals. With Liverpool, it's boring, and you know who'll win, and it's still boring. You're like, all right, cool, they won. I thought so. Job done. Move on.
You're right, and I guess I can touch on them. I guess we scraped a win against Burnley. We played, they played quite well, Burnley. Honestly, I know Fob had his whole moment where he's like, really? Did they create a lot of chances? And I was like, yeah, dude, they created a pretty damn good amount of chances, and they probably should have scored. But Fabinho gets him over the line. I guess good note to note from him. 5 goals in 2022. Who would have thought? Striker Fabinho. And just like I have to give a mention for Jota. I mean that motherfucker, man. I mean, when we signed him, everyone was like, "Oh, he's gonna be back up. He's slowly gonna be in," and he has really staked his claim. I mean, he's basically replaced Bobby in the starting lineup, and
Yeah.
he's a poacher finish. Amazing. And I guess we did dispatch Leicester pretty easily. We can touch on them. I mean, maybe just about Rodgers. I mean, let's just look at the table. Like Leicester City right now, bro. They are in 11th place. This was also a team that we were thinking was gonna like go top 6, go challenge for Europe. But as we know, Brendan Rodgers bottles it again. I mean, is he gonna get fired? I don't know, man. I think he could get sacked if they. I mean, maybe they'll keep him around for the sake of like having continuity. But like,
Yeah, but
this is a
I'm just
drop
so
off, man.
surprised because I still believe he's a good coach. I don't know what is happening.
I think
I mean,
yeah.
okay, like it makes me think that maybe his whole Liverpool, amazing season was all a fluke because he had Suarez and Gerrard.
Yeah, I mean, uh, shout out to Rory Jennings again. He has been calling this like that Brendan is a fraud for a long time. And I think the more and more I think
Really?
about it, yeah, and the more
Mm.
and more I think about it, I really think like I mean, because as a Liverpool fan, I knew in the seasons after that season for us as a whole as a team was a flash in the pan. There was no doubt about it. I mean,
Really, yeah.
yeah, like Suarez himself. And then you think about, okay, he left the Celtic after and he got the treble, but like it's the SPL, man. Like
Yeah,
if
yeah,
you're a
yeah.
good enough manager to get Leicester coached and actually admittedly win the FA Cup with them and do all that stuff with them, then no shit you're gonna walk the
Yeah.
SPL when you're the coach of Celtic. You have all the resources in the league, and like Rangers at the time were like completely far and away just like dropped off, right? Like they
Yeah.
just come back in
Yeah.
the league, they're rebuilding, and I guess Stevie was the guy who rebuilt them. But yeah, I mean now I'm actually thinking about it when you're saying that, I'm like I kind of think it was a flash in the pan, a little bit of a fluke, and
Yeah.
I guess part of me was just trying to like give the benefit of the doubt, like maybe the squad is a little bit done, right? They're kind of aging. Madison, Vardy, like they don't
Yeah.
really. I guess Tielemans was a good like talent that came in, but it's like he's someone who might be poached in the next season or two, and it might just be like
Well, I
the
think he will be. His contract is gonna run out. I think Arsenal should sign him.
that would be a good signing. And I guess who's the midfield right now? I mean, yeah, Lukonga's pretty young, and you need someone to partner Partey and maybe give an
Luongo, bro,
option
the
for a
guy
3-man
that
midfield.
Yeah, the guy that Vincent Company said or told him Man City after he left, that this is the next Yaya Toure.
Yeah, Lukonga, right? Yeah, Sambi.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, look, I honestly, I wouldn't take that with like I would take that with a like that means a lot. Like that honestly, as much as it's like it might set him up for failure, like in a good I mean, he's young, bro. Like give him 2 or 3 seasons to hit his prime. I bet you anything we'll see that talent. Like that's not cuz it wasn't just the company, right? It was other French stars too, if I remember correctly.
bro, they were tricking. He was captain of Anderlecht at like
Psh,
23 or 22.
psh. Yeah, dude, we got to take I mean, Vincent is a champion. You have to take that to heart for sure.
Bro,
Oh
can you
man.
believe James Madison is still only 25? I thought he was a lot older than that.
Really?
He's still got a lot of years ahead of him.
I think he was linked to Arsenal the other window. Would you take him at Arsenal?
Actually, dude, I think I'm looking at the Leicester players, and they're like okay in age, right? Like Hamza Chowdhury, 24.
Huh.
Harvey Barnes, 24. James Madison, 25. Soyuncu,
Huh. Wow.
25. Yeah, like I didn't think so, but yeah, 25 as
That's like
well.
hitting their prime right now. Like that's
Yeah,
even
Johnny
worse
Evans
indictment
is,
on fucking Brendan. Let's be
yeah,
real. That's like,
It really is.
let's be real. Yeah, Brendan, bro. I think I have to say, Rory, I'm with you, man. The man's a fraud.
Okay.
The man is a fraud. In any
Wait, so how
case,
long
yeah.
was he at Liverpool? Like, how did he do the other seasons?
Oh, that's a good question. I think
Let's
he was there
find
for
out.
3 seasons, if I'm not
So he was
mistaken.
there from 2012 to 2015, so for 3 seasons.
3 seasons. Yep. Yep. He had the one 13-14 season that was amazing, and then he dropped off. I think we finished sixth or something like that. But the first season, I think breaking in and I guess making the Champions League, but we completely failed. Like
Yeah,
Real Madrid like wiped the floor with us at the Bernabeu 3-0. We and our team was pretty bad. Like you have to imagine like this was a time where we had like Ricky Lambert coming through the side and like people like Balotelli and Fabio Borini and like you're just like what is going on here? And I guess obviously Suarez was the big. I mean the 40 plus 1 million pounds, that whole shit, and pretty much I think like not only Suarez was a thing, but I what you said is like Stevie mattered, bro, because Stevie convinced Suarez to stay. So like
oh
that,
yeah.
yeah, because apparently he wanted to go to Arsenal because he was like we're hitting a dead end. But yeah, I think you made the perfect argument for me. Like the man's a fraud. In any case, let's take a look ahead at the fixtures for next week. Um, we got a couple of interesting ones here. I guess West Ham versus Newcastle at the London Stadium. That'll be interesting to see if maybe Newcastle can capitalize on this kind of rotten form for West Ham. Arsenal here, Brentford at the Emirates. Hopefully they can kind of keep their winning ways and get one of those points. I don't know. It looks like a little actually a bit boring. I mean, the game of the week is going to be City Spurs, and like
Yeah.
let's be real, it's funny because I guess one of my one of my friends is like I guess sports betting is now legal in America, so like everything is coming up pretty big, and he put like a big bet on Spurs. I guess it was like a free bet that you could put like and get to really good odds, and I was like, bruh, Spurs ain't winning that game. Let's be freaking real. Like Spurs are trash right now. They are in the dumps. But that'll be an interesting game. But other than that, I mean, nothing really interesting. I mean, any relegation scraps? Not really. I guess Everton, Southampton, like at Southampton, you could probably see Everton losing that game, and maybe like, you know, putting the pressure on Frank to actually stay up. But again, like, is Norwich gonna beat Liverpool? Yeah, no chance. LOL. So they
Yo,
dropping points.
yo, Rose,
Mm.
could I just get into low stakes sports gambling on the league?
Yeah, of course. I mean,
Yeah,
yeah.
I seem tempted to do it. I am tempted to do it. Just seems fun, and like just like always, yeah, just like go for, the your average earnings, right? So like if you always go for the low odd stuff, like you'll lose small, 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 but then the large payout will even it out. But
yeah, yeah. I
I mean,
mean,
I'm saying low stakes gambling. Like hopefully I
oh
don't have to
yeah,
mortgage my house or something. But
yeah, for sure. I mean, honestly,
it sounds fun. It sounds like I
I
could do
thought
it.
about it. I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, my friends are doing it a lot now, and obviously, I
They
think,
are?
yeah, dude,
Oh shit.
it's. I mean,
Maybe I
it's.
should.
I'll tell you, bro. This is not investment advice, but if you want to buy stocks in the next year, you should be buying sports company betting stocks because that their revenues are going to be skyrocketing over the next few years. But yeah, I mean, honestly, I think this. I know enough about the Prem that I think I can make a few decent bets as long as I
Yeah,
like
me too. I think
actually
so
pay
too.
attention, you know? As long as I
Yeah.
like put a good effort and not just like just randomly try to predict and like actually think about it a little bit, like I think I could make a few
I don't know.
chunks of
Like I just
change.
see like there's so many money making opportunities around me. I could just go balls deep into gambling on
Balls
sports.
deep, dude.
Like I could reasonably say, you know what, I'm gonna stop everything. I'm gonna take out a year and just do just start to find um, bugs in crypto and claim huge bounties, right? I also just do that.
There you go, bro. There you fucking
Yeah.
go. But yeah, that's the Prem. I guess maybe in the last like minute or so here, let's just touch on the Champions League, if only because it's back finally. I guess we just had a pretty drab affair, honestly. PSG versus Real Madrid.
Shambolic display by PSG, bro. What are they
Dude,
doing? Real Madrid were so off it and still couldn't score.
still so off. And honestly, like I
Mhm.
guess Mbappe, I think I agree with the I forget who said it in the group chat. Like he's a little bit overrated. Let's be real. Like, I
I
mean,
think he is.
yeah, just like I mean, like he did a good move, but like I think he made a good point. I think it was Rohan in the chat. It was like just like the whole game you're sitting there, like and I guess you're right. He was doing flicks and tricks and whatever, and it's just like if you're really gonna make impact and like you're gonna and I guess part of it's probably like is Poch really a good manager for this situation? But yeah, in any case, Champions League is back. That was a pretty drab affair, and I guess City just like fucking wiped the floor with Sporting 5-0. It wasn't even a challenge.
Yeah,
But
I would
yeah,
like nothing more than to see Real Madrid go down. This, just Spanish football in general, just go down, right?
hmm.
Barcelona signing Augsburg players, they're in trouble. Fucking Real Madrid signs Gareth Bale. Turns out he's a goddamn lemon.
Mm.
Signs Hazard. He's a lemon. Now they're gonna sign
Oh, such a lemon,
Mbappe. Imagine he's lemon. Oh, that'd be
bro,
glorious.
bro. And
That'd be glorious.
honestly, I think your hopes are happening already. Like, ironically enough, I think the best league that's not the Prem is the Serie A,
Oh, definitely.
right? Like out of nowhere, like. But like, yeah, Spanish football is just dead. German football has never been alive. It's just like two juggernauts. Like, but
Yeah.
like now,
Only
what's
one really. It's not even two.
you're right. It's pretty much Bayern.
Like
But like,
everyone just
yeah,
sells all their players to Bayern Munich.
yeah, exactly. And now I think the big thing in Spain was exactly that. I mean, like with Barca, they just got fucking neutered without Messi and with the whole finance crap. So like that takes, that mixes things up. And I guess Atletico won the league the other season. But then even
Yeah.
Real Madrid, like they're losing their flair. I mean, the squad is not aging, but like the core that was like winning the Decima with Ronaldo and whoever is a little bit aging.
They're all gone and they're all old. Yeah.
Yeah, they're all gone and old. I think Ancelotti's the manager again. Another like I don't want to say washed up. He's one of the best managers in history,
He
but like
washed up at Everton, I'll tell you that. He's
yeah, but
washed up.
he's past his prime, and so it's like, where's the Ten Hogs, the Klopps, I mean, and obviously what we're learning is that they're all going to the Prem because the Prem is the Prem, the best league in the
Yeah.
freaking world. You heard it here first. Prem. I mean, the FA is the most fraudulent association there is. Like, let's not give them any credit in that respect, but the Prem is the best for sure. In any
But like
case,
like you saw the game plan with the LA Rams, right? The where the Kroenke said, they went with a really fresh young coach who's got new ideas. All their players are, they developed, they got young players. That same system's happening in Arsenal. They had an like interview recently with Josh Kroenke, and he's like, one thing I had to learn really is like, the attachment that fans have to the club, right?
I saw that clip
The
today. I saw it.
intensity is unlike anything in the U.S. And he said, like our goal now is to get back to where we were at the Invincibles era. So like I think the club is I think now that it's not Stan, it's Josh Kroenke in charge. He's also a young guy.
So Kronke in is what you're saying.
Yeah, I say he's a youth,
Oh
but
my
he's
God!
gonna
You heard it here
hopefully.
first, folks. Surya is Kronke in.
No, 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 no. I'm just saying, I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful for the future.
Well, that's a great note to end. Like we started, Arsenal top fours are on. Thank you, Surya. As always, thank you all for watching. And I lost Surya. That's hilarious. But as I have to end, and I'll let Surya come back, but I have to end by reminding the FA that you're a bunch
Motherfucker, bro.
motherfucker. I was saying like it was perfect timing for you to drop out, but as we said, we started where we left off. Arsenal top four chances are on. Josh Kroenke in, and of course I can't finish the podcast without reminding the FA that you're a bunch of fucking frauds. Sort yourself out. And actually, no, you gave a winter break, so I'll give you credit in that respect. But you're a bunch of frauds. Sort yourself out. Peace.